own life soon after arriving at work at Cardiff University Business School.
Well, tonight, his widow, Diane, is speaking publicly for the first time. She told Wales Live the university knew he was struggling with workload issues and she's demanding they take action. Catrin Half-Jones reports.
Malcolm and myself were a team. We met at university. He adored his 3 girls. He'd do anything for them. He always found time for everybody.
But on the 19th of February 2018, a year ago yesterday, the family's life changed forever.
My eldest daughter, Hannah, texted me to say the police have come and knocked on the door. I thought to myself, this is not good, you know, when the police are knocking at the door.
Dr. Malcolm Anderson had left for Cardiff University at 20 to 5 that morning. By 6:15 a.m, he'd taken his life. He was 48 years old. He'd studied at Cardiff and spent all his working life at the business school. But during recent years, his work emails referred to an explosion in workload and student numbers.
He had an undergrad module with over 400 students and then an MBA module which might have been up to 200 students. It wasn't recognised, the immense pressure on time that is.
At the inquest into his death, there was evidence of him working all hours, evenings, weekends and holidays, marking, answering emails, sorting lectures and preparing exam papers. His annual work appraisals for 2015, 2016 and 2017 show that he'd repeatedly raised concerns about workload.
He gives an example in August, working 14-hour days and not seeing his family all week.
But in late 2017, he was encouraged to take up an additional role in the university with additional work as a deputy head of section at the business school.
He didn't want to apply for that job because he knew he was going to really struggle to do it, but he felt he had to. And then, ultimately, it's just too much.
On the morning he took his life, he was in the middle of marking 418 exam papers while preparing for another day of lectures. The reasons behind suicide are known to be complex and numerous, but Diane Anderson is convinced that workload pressure pushed her husband too far.
He left 2 suicide notes, and one of them very explicitly said that workload, long hours, anxiety, stress got me. I cracked.
Cardiff University say their thoughts are with his family, but it wouldn't be appropriate to discuss his individual case. Following Malcolm Anderson's death, over 600 members of staff signed an open letter to the university's Vice-Chancellor, Executive Board and Council, calling on them to take action to tackle excessive workloads to safeguard staff across the university. One of the signatories to that letter is Professor Vicky Wass, who also works in the business school.
Universities are now all assessed on their research as well as their teaching. So the universities are feeling the pressure and they're feeding it down to the staff. And the only way to meet those demands is by working longer hours and by working more intensively.
As well as lecturing, Vicky is a personal tutor. A decade ago, she was responsible for 10 students a year. Now it's 28. She too has raised concerns in annual appraisals.
This is for 2018. I continue to find it impossible to fill my job description within contracted hours. As a result, I experience conflict in my work-life balance and I feel in a semi-permanent state of anxiety about completing my work commitments.
During the past few months, I've spoken to 11 other members of the university's academic staff from a range of different schools who tell me that they too are struggling with workload pressures. But they've asked to remain anonymous.
I'm given a couple of hours' time to prepare a lecture that can take me many days, often a week to develop. The attitude by senior managers to people like me lower down seems to be, of course you should be working 60 hours a week rather than the 35 we're paying you for.
We have a culture of fear now. Many of us are scared. We're scared of being singled out and disciplined if we speak out.
We asked Cardiff University for their response. In a statement, they told us that they take the welfare of their staff very seriously. They also said that during the past 4 years, they've been working to establish a fair and transparent framework for allocating workload. And following feedback from staff, they're reviewing the current model, which would provide staff with an opportunity to express their views.
But Cardiff University has recently announced further staff cuts, with proposals to shed 380 posts over the next 5 years to deal with a budget deficit of more than £20 million.
It doesn't make any sense when you've got a workload crisis among staff to be actually cutting back the staff. There's no plans to cut back the students. The plans are to maintain student numbers and even increase student numbers.
The University and College Union in Wales say workload pressure is a problem right across Welsh universities, and that while institutions can do so much, governments should be doing more.
The Welsh Government say they recognise higher education as a common good and that income for Welsh universities has risen by over 200 million since 2012.
But a year on from the death of Dr. Malcolm Anderson, his wife says serious change is needed now.
What I want the university to look at is making sure they change it so it doesn't happen to anybody else, that nobody else has the foundations of their life completely rocked like the girls and I have, and have their husband and dad taken away. They've got to make sure it doesn't happen again.
And if you're feeling emotionally distressed and would like details of organisations which offer advice and support, go to bbc.co.uk Action Line, or you can call for free at any time to hear recorded information. That's on 0800 066 066. 0800 066 066.